Hello my friend, James Hands here from Awaken Therapy. If you're watching this, you've probably been through some significant challenges in your life. Possibly childhood trauma, it might be adult trauma, it might be commission trauma, like people abusing you or attacking or criticizing, that sort of stuff. It might be omission trauma, maybe it was a lack of love, lack of emotional support, maybe it was severe neglect. Either way, these experiences are obviously very stressful, traumatic, particularly for the child. And so we do focus a lot on the impact of that, on the residue that gets left over from those sorts of experiences. Rightly so, they can be completely debilitating. They can completely have us, frozen in complex post-traumatic stress disorder and barely able to function. But I'm going to walk you through a series of videos over the next few weeks where we look at the good that comes out of the bad, the strengths, qualities, resources that develop out of the challenges. And on some level, we know this. I get to work with so many amazing people who might have been through unbelievable trauma, incredibly difficult things all the way back to birth perhaps, and yet they're here, they've managed to survive, they've managed to drag themselves through those ordeals and continue on and be very determined to heal and to grow. I want to explore these qualities because they're just amazing, isn't it? It's just remarkable. And maybe I'm talking directly to you. These remarkable qualities, strengths, gifts of trauma, some people call it the gifts of trauma, that have come out of the challenge. What do they say? Nothing good, if you don't have to kind of work for it or fight for it, it's not worth having. And I think that speaks to this as well. But we're talking next level. We're talking life challenges. We're not just talking about taking on a difficult project. We're talking about being born into challenge. And my term for people who've taken this on, been incarnated into this kind of challenge, is a soul warrior, because I see it again and again. I see people who've developed extraordinary qualities, not despite the ordeals, but because of them. And I often think of a sword, think of a samurai sword being pounded in the flames, being hammered on the anvil, in the blacksmith's, workshop, just being tempered into such a strength, tempered into such a fine blade of discernment, and these qualities like strength and like discerning wisdom and deep empathy, courage and will, these beautiful qualities. Well, the thing to know is that you get to keep these qualities forever. They become part of your soul personality, your soul character. But they don't come easy. They don't come cheap. Nothing worth having comes cheap. And it's a way of seeing what you've been through that can help in the healing, help in the recovery. We can be very stuck in an attitude of this shouldn't have happened, this was all bad, this is all wrong, this shouldn't have happened. And look, a lot of things happen that aren't even in the soul blueprint. It's a lot of free will here, isn't there? We have free will, so a lot of things go wrong. People make bad choices and do terrible things, and this can have a huge impact on someone else's life. But we can make good out of bad. We can make lemonade out of lemons. And this is what I'm so blown away by and passionate about, and I feel so privileged and grateful to work with people, because I see this again and again, how they've taken such terrible origins perhaps, but turned it into being stronger people. For instance, making sure they're better parents than their parents. In fact, often turning that around 180 degrees and completely, becoming a great parent when their own parents maybe were terrible. Or just this courage and this strength to continue on and to work on self and to, seek help. This kind of quality as well. This beautiful strength. It takes a lot of determination, a lot of willpower to turn up for therapy, to turn up for healing modalities. It takes a lot of courage to walk in the door or to get on the Zoom or to just start to unpack these things. So once again, these are qualities that are remarkable. And maybe if you're watching this, you're very likely to be one of those people who have that maturity, have that strength to be able to catalyze the trauma into these amazing qualities. Not everyone can. A weaker personality will go through obviously a lot of trauma, but they don't have the strength to own it or to look at it, to reflect on it. They call that capacity in therapy, a capacity for self-reflection. And look, if someone doesn't have that, if they really struggle with that, they're more likely just to be pouring alcohol on their pain or projecting it onto others or just repeating the patterns in some messy, unconscious way, which is awful because then it's just repeating. It's like kicking the can down the road, things getting passed on, and there's your intergenerational trauma. But I met so many people over the years who've gone through unbelievable stuff, and yet they're owning it, they're holding it, they're not projecting it. Sure, there can be a bit of snappy and messy at times, and we're not talking about saints here, but on the whole, we're talking about people who have the maturity to hold it, to own it, and usually they're attacking themselves with it rather than others, but that tends to go with that, type of stronger personality. But my job has always been helping people as they heal through that residue to find and honor and acknowledge the strengths they've developed. And one of these qualities is this strength, incredible strength and incredible resilience. I mean, you think about it, going through childhood trauma, this could be the whole 14, 15 years of childhood, right through the very end of childhood. If we've had to deal with something all those years, then that sword being tempered, that's a lot of tempering, that's a lot of pounding by the hammers of abuse or dysfunctional neglect or whatever the hell was going on. That's a lot of tempering. And so what I find is at the core of the person, underneath all the messy residue, we've got this incredible strength, incredible resilience. Just to have survived, just to be here now, just to be watching this video perhaps, you're already demonstrating this strength that you've acquired through those struggles. And I think it's very important to acknowledge this because it's part of our healing, part of our recovery is to start to see, well, what did come out of all that? Sure, I've got scars, battle scars, but instead of just seeing it as, oh, that shouldn't have happened, we can be proud of it. Okay, what has developed in me going through those ordeals? Strength is one of those qualities. Join me in the next video and we'll unpack another quality, another one of these soul warrior qualities.